So I got a question for you, mate. We've just started with a company. We invested pretty heavily to get a serious CRM. This is the blinds business. So we needed something that would sort of nurture leads throughout the sales process. But more importantly, because we've just employed a few people, we needed to sort of get the tracking and reporting right. Where we've landed on it, now I engage, the way this company works is you pay a subscription per user, but you also pay a third party to integrate to take it from off the shelf to customise so it's where you need it to be. Where we've landed with it, Wes, is that we've done the initial stage, right, and we're nowhere near on the same page from where we first discussed in terms of deliverables. So the actual software isn't usable for our guys at the moment. And so where we need to sort of get it to is, at the moment, we've invested, like we're talking, at the moment we're probably 8,000 or 9,000 into it, and we're probably 30% of the way into the investment. My question is this, right? We haven't paid the second half of the bill yet, because from where I sit, I'm like, man, we're nowhere near close to what we initially discussed. But we also need to use this company or another company of somewhat to actually take us to the point where it's usable for our guys, because at the moment we're getting 0% of the benefit. Where's the balance between sort of these guys are saying, where's the balance between holding off on paying the remainder of the bill until we come to an agreement on some key deliverables and then nailing down how much extra we're going to need to pay to get to that point? And at what point should we just be walking away, or how should we be handling this?
Yeah, cool. So you've only paid about 4.5 of the 9, is that right?
We've paid about 7.5 of what's probably going to be about 25.
Okay, cool.
The initial quote we agreed to was about 15. So we paid
the CRM that brings the third party in. Is that right?
Yeah.
Are they pointing fingers at each other?
Oh yeah. So, well, it's they're saying, this is one of our preferred partners, and they're a platinum integrator, and blah blah blah, all that good stuff. The problem was that I was quite clear on what I was asking for, and I understand how computers work and things like that. And everyone in the startup process just started saying, yes, it can do this, yes, it can do this, yes, it can do this. And no one cared to differentiate between what was out of the box and what was required to custom development. And the first person to actually start, the first person to tell us, start actually managing the expectations was the developer who was assigned to us for 2 days in the office doing work for us, after we'd already paid 50%. And then they started saying, oh, hang on, no, we're not going to be able to do this, or this is going to cost extra money, this is going to cost extra money, we can only get it to this point, things like that.
So we have a classic case here of you're going to have to sharpen your negotiation skills, right? I think you basically go to every stakeholder and you say, guys, pause all work. I'm putting the project on notice. Here is where, this project is not matching the original scope. Okay? So you say to them, I will totally honor paying the bill. However, before I do that, I need the roadmap so that we all get on the same page. So we need to come back to the table and have a very clear, all parties, the CRM, the third-party developer, and you need to sit down and then go, okay, guys, listen, this was my original scope. You are now telling me it can't be done. What's the workaround? And they say, oh, well, anything can be done. It's going to be another 50,000 or 10,000 or 5,000 or 2,000. And you say, guys, that's not acceptable. We originally had this as my outcome. You told me this. I need this outcome for this much money, which is why we're some way down this path. If we can't get there, then I'll reserve my rights to, pursue you on the side. But it would be much better for everybody if we can just get me what we have both agreed at the start. And then if it were me, I would probably treat it, because we're not talking about, $50 here, we're talking about 25 grand. I would be sitting down and I would get everybody back to the table if I can get a resolution from that, I would then produce a heads of agreement document and get everybody to sign it so that they don't go away and then start pointing the fingers at each other after that. Okay. Now, you have quite a bit of the leverage in this because you've only paid 7.5. So, you have the ability to pull up stumps here at any time, which is not ideal for you. And of course, we want to honor what we said, but we're going to want what we wanted to be able to honor what we said. So I think it's a classic case of, right, say, guys, you need to meet me, right? I don't know if that's geographically possible, but maybe for 25 grand, they can make the trip.
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of getting this project done, I'd fly over to meet with them, right? Because this is going to be a cornerstone piece of technology, not only for us, our staff locations, but also for the franchisees, right?
Yep.
So it's important we get it done. I guess it's just finding that balance between, obviously they're wanting to withhold payment. They're just wanting to say, no, pay the remainder of your bill. It was due a week ago before we talked to you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do that.
And that's fine.
Finding the balance.
That's where you've got to bowl. And listen, Matthew 10:16, right? Be as gentle as a dove and as shrewd as a serpent. You've got to learn when to be both. Right? Most people have got the dove bit down pat. They'll take a rollover, they'll take a hit, they'll put it down to a bad experience. The Lord was teaching me a lesson. It's rubbish. Here's an opportunity for you to be as shrewd as a serpent. You bowl back in there and say, guys, I'm taking leadership. I mean, you're the spiritual authority anyway by default. You walk back in there, you say, guys, I'm not getting what I wanted. This is not okay. We're all going to come to a heads of agreement and we're not leaving this meeting until we do. This is what I want. This is what I want. How do we? You beat that thing around until you get a resolution. You put it on paper. Everybody signs it. You go home. You say, at this point here, when you give me this, I will guarantee, document it. I'll release the payment, but you've got to get me to here first. All right? And you'll...
Yeah, and so is it worth... Because there's 100 different integration partner companies out there and things like that. Do we continue pressing on with this company, or do we...
If you think they've got the skills. If you think they've got the skills, I would do it. If you get into that meeting and you start to think, hang on a minute, they don't have the skills, then it's time to negotiate again and say, guys, you can't deliver what you promised. I want the money back that I've paid. If you don't give me the money back that I've paid, I'm doing the project anyway. I'll go to one of the other providers, and then I'll probably put a small claims in for the money I've paid you.
Yeah.
Now, they're not going to want that grief, so they're probably just going to do the work or give you money back. Remember, this isn't trying to take advantage of anyone. This is going to them and saying, let's have an open and honest dialogue. Let's chat about this to get a resolution. That's but somebody's got to take charge, and if it's not you, you're going to get ripped off.
Yeah, and it's sort of, the thing is, because we've gotten to this point, now I actually understand the limitations of the software better. I can better articulate what it is we're actually needing it to do and find the middle ground. Where we're getting stuck is they're saying, no, we didn't quote you for deliverables. We quoted you for time and resources. Which is
typically which is what developers and that do.
Which is what they, of course, is what they want to do, but yeah.
But that's okay. I wouldn't accept that. I'd say that's fine. That's what you quoted, but this is my correspondence with you, which is an outcome-based correspondence. We need to agree to some, terms and conditions. I would probably throw down some milestones between that moment and the rest of the relationship. Get me this, I'll pay this. Get me this, I'll pay this. Get me this, I'll pay this. I'll keep the cash flow coming if you give me these deliverables. Now, it still could fall over, but at least you gave them every chance to succeed. But you're going to have to bowl in there, I reckon, and take authority.